Today we are going to be reading chapter 3 and 4 of Dolphins at Daybreak. Yesterday we read chapter 2. Today we are reading mini sub. "You've really done it now, Annie," said Jack. Sorry, but look out the window," Annie said. "Look." "Forget it, we have to figure this out." Jack stared at the computer. He saw a row of pictures at the top of the screen. "What did you do?" he asked. "I just pressed the on button," said Annie. The screen lit up and I pressed the starfish. "That must be the command to go under the water," said Jack. "Yeah, then the map came on," said Annie. Okay, the map shows the reef," said Jack. "Look, there's the mini sub on the map. It's moving away from the reef." "It's like a video game," said Annie. "I bet I know what to do." Annie pressed a key with an arrow pointing right. The mini sub on the screen moved right. The real mini sub turned to the right also. "Great," said Jack with relief. "You pressed the arrows to steer the mini sub, so now we can go back." "Oh no, not right away," said Annie. "It's so beautiful down here." "We have to get back to the reef," said Jack. His eyes were still glued to the computer screen. "What if the owners find it gone?" "Look out the window," said Annie, "just for one teeny second." Jack sighed. He pushed his glasses into place and looked up. "Oh man," he said softly. Outside the glass was a strange world of bright moving color. It looked like another planet. The mini sub was moving past red, yellow, and blue coral, past little coral mountains, valleys, and caves, past fishes of every color and size. "Can't we stay for a little while? The answer to Morgan's riddle must be here," said Annie. Jack nodded slowly. She might be right, he thought. Besides, when would they ever get to visit a place like this again? And that was the end of chapter 3, so we are also going to read chapter 4 today, which is called Fish City. There were fish everywhere, floating over the swaying seagrass, eating on the white sandy bottom, peeping out of coral caves. Some kinds of coral looked like blue fingers or lacy fans. Others looked like deer antlers or lettuce leaves or mushrooms or trees. Jack read in the book. Coral reefs are only found in warm, tropical waters. Nearly 5,000 different species of fish live around coral reefs in the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Jack pulled out his pencil and notebook. He started to write a list. Coral reef research. Warm water, over 5,000 kinds of fish. "Look," said Annie. The sub floated past a huge starfish, then a pink jellyfish, then a blue seahorse. Jack added to his list. Starfish, jellyfish, seahorses. "What is that?" said Annie. Jack saw a creature that looked like a giant pancake with a long tail. "A stingray," said Jack. He put that on his list as well. "And that?" said Annie. She pointed at the biggest shell Jack had ever seen. It was as big as a footstool. "I'll have to check on that one," said Jack. He turned the pages of the ocean book. When he got to the page about clams, he read aloud. "The giant clam of the coral reef is 3 feet wide and weighs up to 200 pounds. "Wow," said Annie. "No kidding," said Jack. He added giant clam to his list. "Dolphins!" Annie cried. Jack looked up. 2 dolphins were peering in the window. They tapped their noses against the glass. Their eyes were bright. They seemed to be smiling. Jack laughed. "It's like we're in a fish tank and they're looking at us," he said. "Their names are Suki and Sam," said Annie, "sister and brother." "You're nuts," said Jack. "Here's a kiss for you, Suki," Annie said. She pressed her lips to the glass as if she were kissing the dolphin's nose. "Oh, brother," said Jack. But the dolphin opened her mouth and tossed her head. She seemed to be laughing. "Hey, I know the answer to the riddle. Dolphins," said Annie. "They're gray and plain, but they have great beauty inside." "You forgot the rough as a rock part," said Jack. "Dolphin skin looks smooth and slippery." "Oh, right," said Annie. The dolphins flipped their tails. They swam off into the light blue water. "Wait, don't go," called Annie. "Suki!" But the dolphins were gone. "It's time for us to go too," said Jack. He was afraid someone might be looking for the mini sub. "But we haven't solved the riddle," said Annie. Jack studied the bright underwater world. don't see the answer, he said. There's nothing plain at all out here. Then maybe the answer's in the mini-sub, said Annie. They looked around the tiny space. I'll check the computer, said Jack. He studied the row of pictures at the top of the screen. He pressed the book picture. The words ship's log flashed onto the screen. So that is the end of chapter 4. So think about what has happened so far. You could write a summary of what just happened in chapters 3 and 4. You could also do some research, kind of like Jack is doing with his notebook. He's doing research about coral reefs. So that would be a great idea to research some coral reefs, and then you could see what they actually look like in color. That would be pretty neat to see. So I hope you enjoyed chapters 3 and 4 of Dolphins at Daybreak.